Alright, what is up? Welcome back to another video. I actually didn't even check. I just assumed there was no news. Let me do my research real quick. Also, for those of you who say you shouldn't microwave your coffee, one moment, please. I make one of these. It's a French press that my lovely girlfriend got me. It is massive. If I was to consume all of this like while it was hot, I would be very over-caffeinated. But I drink it gradually throughout the day because I'm mindful. Because I'm demure. I like to have hot coffee. I don't like the room temperature coffee. I like to microwave it, and if you have an issue with it, it's not very mindful of you. All right, and we're back. Got the coffee heated up, and we're just gonna jump into this. There are two items of news that we're going to discuss very briefly. Also take a moment before we get into that to quickly thank the members of the channel. Their lovely names are right here. If you choose to join the channel, you're supporting me, and I definitely appreciate that. You also get exclusive access to some videos, early access to other videos, and you get a shout out right here. I'm cooking up some other perks as well, so feel free to join and check that out. Again, shout out to all the members. I appreciate you guys very much. Next up, we have Ilfo Color, which is new film, maybe? I don't know. But Ilfo Color, that's now being sold by Freestyle Photo, I think for like $14.99 a roll or something like that, in that kind of like $15 range, I believe. What is it? I don't know. But I talked to my buddy today, and he was trying to explain it to me, so it kind of went, but I'll do my best. So there's Ilford, and then there's Harmon, but then there's also Ilford that's split. So Harmon's the one, this little piggy made Harmon Phoenix. This little piggy made none. This little piggy makes the black and white film, the chemicals, the paper, all that stuff. This little piggy had roast beef and then also made Ilfo Color. What is Ilfo Color film? Is it a new color emulsion? Probably not. I've not really delved into this because I thought it was kind of self-explanatory, but the process of producing color film is incredibly strenuous, requires a lot of resources and money and development and time. And for a company like Ilford, which predominantly, so far as I know, has never really produced color film. I know that they've had like Ilfo Color-esque products in the past. I believe that's all recanned Fuji stuff, maybe, potentially, who knows. So for them to start out from scratch and kind of build, you'd see something more like a Harmon Phoenix rather than the Ilfo Color, which seems to be a pretty polished product. I want to say that it's like a recanned Invisotech-esque film, which is the company that makes the Wolfen NC 500 and 400, and then also Lomography Metropolis. But who really knows? I certainly don't. I did order a roll of it, so we will test that out and see. But good, exciting news, I guess, if you wanted a little bit more variety in your film. The other bit of news, which is completely non-related to film photography, Bearbottom, one of the companies that kind of sponsors me. Shout outs to them. They have shorts, they've got shirts, they have great products. I'm wearing some sweat shorts right now. They are fantastic for just lounging around the house, working from home as I now do, and just everyday apparel. They also have a wide variety of other items. Check out their site. I will have a link in the description down below. But they do have a deal. They just reached out to me this morning, actually, so I'm going to read it verbatim from the horse's mouth here, or from the bear's bottom. End of summer sale from Bearbottom. 20% off when you buy 2+ items in the end of summer sale. Promotional code will be right here. It's BYESUMR, and the sale ends September 2nd, which is next Monday. So you got a week. You got a week to scoop in and buy up a bunch of stuff. Remember, click the link down below to get access to that. Use the promo code. Buy yourself some nice clothes for the fall time because their sweats are, I'm not joking, phenomenal. So check those out and get yourself something nice. Because there wasn't too much news today, I thought I would take this time to kind of dive into another topic video. This is going to kind of play off of the last video I posted, which was kind of discussing the epidemic of these clone, reusable, disposable plastic things. The topic of this video is going to be try not to get screwed buying a used film camera. This is going to be a bit of a complicated topic, but bear with me. Unfortunately, unlike used cars, there's not really like an odometer. There's no telling how many rolls have been shot through it and who was the previous owner. There's no camera facts. It's just your camera is what it is. As I am the unproud and shameful owner of a couple hundred film cameras, I feel like it is kind of my job, my duty here to share the lessons I've learned with you and hopefully help you avoid making financially ruinous decisions like maybe some of us here have. To start out, you need to have an honest inner dialogue with yourself. What are you looking for in a camera? What do you want to get out of film photography? Pause the video, ask yourself that question, or continue to let the video play and just kind of let the soothing sounds of my monotone voice draw out your innermost feelings about this topic. What is it that you're looking for? That's the most important question to ask. Do you want something that's older, more mechanical, more manual? Do you want something that's newer, more automatic, more electrical, so on and so forth? With my experience in those two fields, you're going to notice two variations of differences. So the mechanical ones, the older ones, typically they're a little bit more straightforward in their issues. The shutter timing might be a little bit bad. There might be some like weird corrosion, some weird gremlins. The light meter might not work. But for the most part, depending on the model, they're usually going to work. The electrical ones, the newer ones, the more automatic ones, the electrical cameras, obviously they provide a lot more ease of use, but also you got to think about the electronics and the time in which those were being developed, either in the 80s, 90s to early 2000s, weren't always the best, and sometimes the easier that they were to use, the more likely they were to be used by kind of the average consumer that's not going to take care of them as well, and might have let batteries sit in there for the last, 20, 30, 40 years. Thus, we have a lot of corrosion issues like the T50s spoken about a number of times. I have one right here where the entire battery door will just fall off because the AA batteries will seep into it with its acidity. And you've seen that also in other cameras like the Spotmatic, which was marketed and sold primarily to the average consumer. People would put the battery in there, not think about it. The battery would stay there for 50 years. And then it would come to my desk and I'd have to try to chisel it out and end up getting mercury poisoning. So it's all good. Those are kind of visual things that you can be on the lookout for. If you know you want to get a very specific kind of electrical automatic sort of system, there's known issues that have been documented about any variety of those. So it's just something you have to be on the lookout for. If you want to get the older mechanical cameras, unless there is direct evidence that it has been serviced recently or at some point, it likely will need to be serviced again. It's kind of the same thing with getting a used car. So that kind of leads us to the buying options. We have a number of them. I have another video going over this. We have the online options, such as eBay, KEH, all of those things. And then we have like the local options. So a few things that you need to be on the lookout if you want to do the local route, which you totally can. Hi, my name is Alex. I bought cameras off Craigslist too. It's been a very long time, but I've done it. And I only worried about my life a few times. I've not ended up ever using Facebook Marketplace, so I can't really speak to that too much, but I know that's another popular option. Craigslist, a little bit more expensive than you want it to be. Facebook Marketplace seems to be sometimes a good deal. A lot of the times people don't really know what they have, but think they have a lot, so kind of be on the lookout on that front. The benefit, though, is that a lot of the times you're getting to meet with either the original owner or someone who's inheriting the camera, so they have a little bit more of the lore of this camera. Where was it used? How was it used? Was the person who used it good at taking care of it, or was it in the basement for 20 years and you just dredged it up? The downside is you have to meet people, and sometimes that can be weird. Always safer just to bring someone else in case. Always nice to have a witness. And if you are friends with somebody or know somebody who's a little bit more familiar with film cameras, bring them along. Have them take a look at it too. I would say do research before you go get your thing, so that way you can ask some questions, check out some stuff, and just remember that like when you get there, you don't actually have to buy it, just checking it out. And if you're like, oh, this is broken, or I can tell that there's mold here, or whatever, be done. This is gonna go to the next point of if you're buying online. And this also kind of goes back to the local pickup thing. Location, location, location. That is a thing that matters. As somebody that has purchased cameras from all across this great, wonderful world that we live on, there is a definite difference in where geographically you're getting your cameras from. If you are buying a camera from Florida, expect the swamp, okay? Like just expect the swamp. Anything in that kind of Gulf of Mexico region, Houston, they have a lot of hurricanes, a lot of floods. And Joel Osteen's not letting people in his church, let alone film cameras. Those things got swamped out, and then I had to deal with them. So that's how I know. Louisiana, I've seen some gross things. And Missouri too. There was one of the Goodwill facilities was located in Missouri that was doing a lot of like the online sales. And I have seen some horrific things from there. And I'm not joking, like chiseling off the filth from an AE1 before is just unheard of. Stay off of Goodwill online. The prices are outrageous, the quality is terrible. The juice just really isn't worth the squeeze. If you want to get into film photography to actually shoot film, then stay off of Goodwill. It's not worth it. If you're like me and a complete degenerate who likes cheap garbage, Goodwill's the place to be. Not as cheap as it once was, but there is plenty of garbage there. I have a few videos going over that as well. But if you are buying online, like I said, Southeast United States there can be a little bit dicey, so just kind of want to tread carefully. If it is an eBay item or something like that, go through all the pictures, read what the seller listed as whatever, and ask questions. It doesn't hurt to ask questions. It's your money on the line at the end of the day. Now, the next thing would be the Japanese sellers. Japanese sellers are great by and large. I would say that there's a few that aren't super awesome, but usually there's enough reviews on it that it's pretty easy to avoid. If they have a high review count and like a 98 to 100% approval, go there. I'm sure that's going to be fine. Like a good handful of big ones that have just about everything you're looking for, depending on what it is that you want. They have a lot of stuff. So a lot of variety and pretty standardized quality. They also take lots of good pictures of everything that they're selling. They've got good descriptions, which will hopefully ease any concerns you might have. And also, like, a lot of them are fairly responsive. So if you reach out with a question, they'll likely have a good answer for you. The main takeaway from this whole process is not getting screwed, right? You don't want to be left holding the bag. So ways to minimize that likelihood using reputable sources like eBay or KDH is great. The local pickups, it can be a little bit more hit or miss, but if you know it's something you want, the price is good, then go for it. But just also understand that that's a little bit more of a risk than you might take going online. There's obviously like some things to look out for specific models, but that's something that you can hopefully figure out in the research process, figuring out what camera I want, and then why do I want that camera. Maybe there's a better alternative that will cost you a little bit less money. Maybe there's an alternative that will have fewer problems, so on and so forth. So that's kind of more of a discovery process for you to do. That's something that you should look into before you start committing to buying something, because that way you can end up with something completely different that is much more of a better get than what you might have been looking for initially. So I think that was it for kind of like the general topics. Like I said, there's a lot to really go over in terms of each individual model, but this is just kind of more general, don't get screwed over kind of advice. I would say figure out your budget, figure out what you want to get, and then try to find as much information out about it as possible before you start into the searching process. And I also think understanding the abstract of what it is you're looking for can help you really whittle down what it is you want to get exactly. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to shoot them down below. If I don't respond to you, I'm sure somebody else will. There's a lot of really good information out there. And if you don't know where to start, that's okay too. Just ask a question and we'll all be kind and helpful. I think that's going to do it for today's video though. I just want to say thank you again for watching. Like it if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel. Also check the links down below. Join the channel if you want to support me and get your name listed right here with all these other lovely members. Any questions, comments, concerns, like I said, comment them down below. Let me know. I will catch you guys next week for hopefully some other update videos, and we'll kind of see where it's going. If I missed anything, let me know. I'll catch you on the next one.